Your F-150 doesn't need a $1,400 set of tires to ride quiet, grip in the rain, and last past 60,000 miles. I've mounted thousands of tires over the years, and the brands that actually surprise me every single time aren't the ones plastered across every commercial. They're the ones sitting quietly on the rack that most owners walk right past because they've never heard the name before. Today we're going through 7 cheap F-150 tire brands that mechanics and tire shops quietly recommend, but that dealerships and big box marketing budgets make sure you never hear about. Number 3 is actually factory original equipment on certain F-150 trims, and most owners driving on it right now have no idea. Let's get into it. Before we get into the list, it's worth understanding why cheap tires get such a bad reputation in the first place. Most of that reputation comes from the true bargain bin tires, the ones with no brand history, no consistent manufacturing standards, and no real testing data behind them. Those tires deserve the reputation they get. But the brands on this list are different. Every one of them is manufactured by an established company with decades of tire engineering behind it, real UTQG ratings on file with the Department of Transportation, and in some cases, factory contracts with Ford itself. The difference between these brands and the household names isn't engineering quality, it's marketing spend. That distinction matters because it means you can save real money without gambling on your truck's safety. It's also worth saying that most owners overpay for tires simply because they never compare the actual UTQG numbers on the sidewall, the treadwear warranty, and the load range side by side before checking out. 2 tires sitting next to each other on a shop wall can carry a $100 price gap while offering nearly identical real-world performance for your specific truck. Knowing which brands consistently deliver on that comparison is the entire point of this list. Number 7, Yokohama. When people think Yokohama, they usually think of the performance side of the brand, the summer tires that show up on sports cars. But Yokohama also builds a highway all-season line that's one of the best-kept secrets in the budget category. The Avid Touring S is the one worth knowing about. It regularly sells for under $130 a tire, carries a treadwear rating of 620, and comes with an A traction grade and a B temperature grade on the UTQG rating system, the government-mandated scale that measures wear, traction, and heat resistance. For context, a lot of premium all-season tires you'd pay double for sit in that same A and B range. What you're actually paying extra for with the big 3 brands most of the time is marketing and brand recognition, not necessarily a meaningfully better rubber compound. On an F-150 that's mostly doing commuting, errands, and the occasional light haul, the Avid Touring S delivers a smooth, quiet ride and predictable wet traction without the premium price tag. It also holds up well against curb impacts and minor road debris, which matters more than people expect since a lot of tire failures on trucks come from sidewall damage rather than actual tread wear. Where it's not the right choice is heavy towing or aggressive off-road use. It's built as a touring tire, so if you're regularly pulling a trailer near your truck's max rating or spending weekends on gravel roads, you'll want a tire built around a reinforced sidewall instead. But for the F-150 owner who mostly drives pavement and wants their money going toward tread instead of a logo, Yokohama is a brand worth putting on your short list. Another thing worth mentioning is Yokohama's manufacturing consistency. The brand runs dedicated production facilities rather than sourcing rubber compounds from a rotating list of third-party factories, which means the tire you buy today should perform nearly identically to the one a buyer picked up 2 years ago. That kind of consistency is exactly what you want when you're trying to plan tire replacement around your truck's maintenance schedule instead of guessing how a batch is going to hold up. Number 6, Nexen. This is a Korean manufacturer that's been quietly building a reputation in the light truck and SUV segment for over a decade, and their Rodian HTX2 is a legitimate contender against tires that cost significantly more. Consumer Reports has actually tested it directly against the Continental Terrain Contact HT and the Firestone Destination LE3, 2 tires that regularly get recommended by name brand shops. The Rodian HTX2 carries a 65,000-mile treadwear warranty, a 680 UTQG treadwear rating, and a traction grade, and a B temperature grade. Those are numbers that hold up against tires priced $50 to $80 more per corner. What Nexen does well with this tire is balance. It's not trying to be an off-road tire or a performance tire. It's built specifically for the daily driver F-150 that spends its life on the highway with the occasional dirt road or gravel driveway. The tread pattern is optimized for even wear and quiet operation, which matters more than people realize because uneven wear is one of the most common reasons owners think they need new tires years before they actually do. If your alignment and rotation schedule are solid, a tire like the Rodian HTX2 can genuinely stretch toward that 65,000 mile mark instead of the 40,000 you'd expect from a bargain bin option. The catch with Nexen is availability. Not every shop stocks them, so you may need to order through a tire retailer rather than walking into your first choice local shop. Installation timelines can run a few days longer as a result, so if you're already down to your wear bars, it pays to plan ahead rather than waiting until you're stranded on the shoulder. It's also worth mentioning that Nexen has invested heavily in its North American operations over the last several years, including a technology center focused specifically on light truck and SUV applications, which is part of why the Rodian lineup has closed the performance gap with more established competitors as quickly as it has. Number 5. Cooper. Cooper has been building tires in the United States since 1914, and even though the brand was acquired by Goodyear a few years back, the Discoverer lineup still gets engineered with the same value-first philosophy that made Cooper a favorite among truck owners for decades. The Discoverer HTP and its updated HT3 successor are built specifically with biting edges cut into the tread blocks in 3D siping, meaning the grooves are cut in a zigzag pattern rather than a straight line, which lets the tread flex and grip more effectively on wet and snowy pavement compared to a straight cut groove. That's a meaningful difference for an F-150 owner in a climate that sees real winter weather, because straight cut siping tends to close up and lose bite the moment the tire starts flexing under load. Cooper built its reputation on truck and SUV tires specifically, unlike some competitors who started in passenger cars and expanded into light trucks later. That focus shows in the sidewall construction, which tends to hold up better against curb rash and pothole impacts than tires designed primarily for sedans. The price point on Cooper Discoverer tires typically lands well below Michelin or Bridgestone equivalents while delivering comparable wet and snow performance. The trade-off is tread life on the more aggressive versions of the lineup, so if you're specifically shopping the HTP or HT3, expect solid grip and confidence in bad weather, with treadwear numbers that are good but not class-leading. One thing worth adding from experience mounting these on customer trucks is that Cooper's warranty process tends to move faster than what you get from some of the bigger names. Because Cooper built its business specifically around truck and SUV owners, rather than treating that segment as an afterthought, manufacturing defect claims generally get resolved with less back and forth. If you're finding value in this so far, go ahead and hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed, because the next two brands are ones that dealerships genuinely don't want you asking about, since they cut directly into the markup on factory tire replacements. Number 4, Falken. This is the brand I probably recommend more than any other on this list, specifically the Wild Peak AT3W. Falken is owned by Sumitomo, a massive Japanese tire manufacturer, and the Wild Peak line has become one of the most respected all-terrain options in the entire industry, budget or otherwise. The AT3W carries the Three Peak Mountains Snowflake certification, meaning it's been independently tested and proven to meet a minimum performance standard in severe snow conditions, not just marketed as winter capable. That's a certification that a lot of tires costing twice as much don't even carry. It also comes with up to a 55,000-mile treadwear warranty, and independent testing has scored it around a 9 out of 10 for handling, with strong marks across wet grip and durability. For F-150 owners who actually use their truck the way it was designed to be used, hauling, towing modest trailers, and on occasional gravel or dirt roads, the Wild Peak AT3W punches well above its price point. I've had customers come in expecting to pay premium pricing for an all-terrain tire and walk out stunned that Falken's version costs less than half of what a BF Goodrich KO2 runs, while delivering comparable snow and wet traction in independent testing. The one area where the premium all-terrain brands still hold an edge is extreme off-road durability, deep mud, sharp rock, and repeated high-speed off-pavement use. If that's your specific use case, you may want a more aggressive mud-terrain tire regardless of brand. But for the overwhelming majority of F-150 owners who just want a truck-capable tire without truck-capable pricing, Falken deserves to be on your list before you ever look at the premium shelf. Falken also benefits from Sumitomo's broader research and development pipeline, meaning the compound technology inside a Wild Peak often trickles down from tires originally developed for far more demanding applications. That's part of why independent testers keep coming back, surprised at how a tire in this price bracket manages to compete directly with options costing significantly more per corner. Number 3, General Tire. Here's the one that genuinely surprises people. The General Grabber HTS60 is not some obscure aftermarket brand. It is original equipment on the 2021 Ford F-150 Limited, straight from the factory. Ford's engineers chose this tire to ship on one of their highest trim levels, which tells you something about how it actually performs, not just how it is marketed. General Tire is owned by Continental, one of the largest tire manufacturers in the world, and the Grabber HTS60 benefits from that engineering backing while still selling at a fraction of Continental's own branded pricing. It uses what General calls Duragen technology, a reinforced tread compound built specifically to resist cuts and chips. And it carries a treadwear warranty of either 50,000 or 65,000 miles, depending on the specific size and load rating you choose. Owners running this tire on F-150s and similar trucks consistently report confident performance towing trailers, hauling loads near the tire's rated capacity, and handling light snow without issue. I have had customers order these online for under $100 a tire and walk away with a set that outperforms tires costing 2 to 3 times as much. The LT metric sizes specifically are optimized for stability and grip under heavier loads, which matters if you're actually using your F-150 for work rather than just commuting. If there's a downside, it's that the metric sizes and LT sizes are tuned slightly differently, so you want to make sure you're matching the right version to your specific use case, whether that's daily driving or regular towing, rather than just grabbing whatever size fits your wheel. There's also a practical benefit to buying a tire that's shipped from the factory on your exact truck. Ford's engineers spent real time validating ride quality, load handling, and noise levels for the HTS60 specifically against F-150 suspension tuning, which means you're not gambling on how a completely unrelated tire platform is going to behave once it's mounted on your particular setup. Number 2, Kumho. Kumho has been manufacturing tires since the 1960s, and while the brand hasn't reached the household name status of Michelin, it's earned a genuinely strong reputation among tire professionals and enthusiasts, specifically because the value-to-performance ratio is hard to beat. The Krugen HT51 is the standout for F-150 owners. Independent testing has recorded over 12 million cumulative reported miles on this tire across owner data, and it consistently scores well above what its price point would suggest, including an 8.7 out of 10 treadwear rating and a 9.1 snow performance score. In the LT metric sizes specifically built for towing duty, the HT51 carries a 45,000-mile treadwear warranty, and it's engineered with load ranges that match up directly against your F-150's axle ratings for real towing capability, not just marketing language. Kumho also isn't chasing the passenger car market the way some competitors are. Their light truck and SUV lineup gets real engineering attention because that's a core part of the brand's identity, not an afterthought bolted onto a car tire platform. That focus shows up in the ride quality and noise levels specifically. Owners consistently report a smoother, quieter highway ride than you'd expect from a tire in this price range. The one thing to watch for with Kumho is that quality can vary slightly depending on which manufacturing plant your specific tire came from, since Kumho produces tires across facilities in South Korea, China, Vietnam, and the United States. Sticking with a reputable retailer that moves consistent inventory helps you avoid any inconsistency there. It's also worth pointing out that Kumho isn't factory original equipment on the F-150 the way General is, which is exactly why the brand tends to fly under the radar with owners who assume the tire that came on their truck is automatically their only trustworthy option. In reality, aftermarket replacement is where Kumho makes its strongest case, because you're getting a tire engineered specifically around towing and load capacity, rather than a compromise tuned for a dozen unrelated vehicle platforms at once. Before we get to number 1, if this is saving you real money on your next set of tires, smash that subscribe button now, because the top pick on this list is the one most F-150 owners have literally never heard of, despite it quietly beating tires that cost nearly 3 times as much in independent testing. Number 1, Toyo. Toyo doesn't get the marketing budget of Michelin or Goodyear, but ask any tire technician which budget-adjacent brand they would actually put on their own truck, and Toyo comes up constantly. The Open Country AT3 is the tire to know here. It carries one of the longest treadwear warranties in the entire all-terrain category at up to 65,000 miles, and it's consistently rated as one of the quietest all-terrain tires available, which matters more than people expect once you have spent a few thousand miles listening to tread hum on the highway. Toyo built its reputation specifically in the truck and SUV segment rather than trying to be everything to everyone, and that focus shows in the construction. The sidewalls are built to handle real load, the tread compound is engineered to resist chipping from gravel and debris, and the tire holds its shape and traction even as it wears down toward the warranty mileage, instead of losing grip dramatically in the final third of its life, the way cheaper tires often do. For F-150 owners who tow occasionally, drive gravel roads to a job site or a cabin, and still want a comfortable, quiet highway ride the rest of the time, the Open Country AT3 checks every box without the premium price tag attached to comparable BF Goodrich or Michelin all-terrain options. It's not the cheapest tire on this list, but per mile of tread life and per dollar of actual performance, independent data consistently puts it near the top of the entire budget and mid-tier all-terrain category, which is exactly why it earns the number 1 spot. Toyo also has a manufacturing footprint in the United States, which helps with supply consistency and typically means shorter wait times if your local shop needs to special order your specific size. And because Toyo has stayed narrowly focused on light truck and SUV applications, instead of trying to compete across every category of tire on the market, the engineering team behind the Open Country line has had years to refine a single product line rather than splitting attention across passenger cars, performance tires, and everything else. That kind of focus is a big part of why a brand without a massive advertising budget keeps showing up near the top of independent testing charts against household names. The theme running through every one of these 7 brands is the same. None of them are cutting corners on engineering. They are just not spending the same money on Super Bowl commercials and NASCAR sponsorships that gets baked into the price of the household names. Before you buy your next set of tires, check the load range, the treadwear warranty, and whether the tire carries the 3-peak mountain snowflake rating if you deal with real winter weather, because those 3 numbers tell you far more about how a tire will actually perform on your truck than the logo on the sidewall ever will. One last piece of practical advice before you go shopping. Whichever brand you land on, make sure the load range on the sidewall actually matches or exceeds what your F-150's specific configuration was built for, especially if you are running a heavier trim or you tow regularly. A budget tire in the correct load range will always outperform an expensive tire in the wrong one. And do not be afraid to ask a shop directly whether they would put a specific budget brand on their own truck. Most techs will give you a straight answer if you ask the question the right way, because we would genuinely rather see you drive off on a tire we trust than upsell you into something you did not need. If this video helped you figure out where to spend your money on your next set of tires, drop a comment telling me which brand on this list surprised you the most, and share this with another F-150 owner who is about to overpay for a name instead of performance. I'll see you in the next one.